Hi, welcome to In the Pocket Podcast. I'm Xander Cook, joined alongside Max Sturm. Logan Martin is not here to join us, unfortunately. It is Christmas Eve, so he is with family. He will not be able to attend. Luckily, Max and I found some wiggle room in our days to get this podcast recording for our game picks this Sunday and tomorrow and Saturday and Monday. So Logan will send us his picks as well, so don't have to worry about that. But we're gonna kick things off.
We've got the
Yep.
Texans and the Chargers, and this is a really good Saturday game. I am so excited to watch this one. You've got two defenses. The Texans, obviously, I would say maybe the best defense in football outside of the Broncos right now. And then the Chargers, whose defense has been so heavily improved this year from last year and really from early on this year. They have done a great job. And then you got the battle of CJ Stroud and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert always knows how to put on a show, but he has struggled a little bit since that broken hand injury. But he's been able to get the job done. Chargers are already clinched. Texans are looking to hold on to their spot at the seventh seed in the AFC. This is going to be a defensive battle, I think, though. And so I really don't know how to call this game. The Chargers are at home, but you know how it is out there in SoFi Stadium. It's never a home game for any team that plays there or for any team that hosts there. It's always the away teams coming in and taking over that stadium. For me, I think that the Texans have a little bit extra to play for, and I think that they're going to win this game. I've got the Texans winning this one in a low scoring matchup, 21-18.
I like it, dude. I like it. I was reflecting back on it. I originally said this could be game of the week, and it still very
Very
well
well
could
could
be.
be.
Very well could be, but it's not my game of the week, and I don't know if it's even top two or top three for this reason. I just thought about it. Broncos are probably going to win tomorrow night. If they win tomorrow night, they win the division. So heading into this Saturday game with the Chargers already clinch a playoff spot, they very well could be resting some starters in this matchup. So that sort of changes things a little bit. The Texans are on a significant winning streak, and the Chargers look like a legit threat as well. We all know the Texans defense is the best in the league, and the Chargers defense looks like it's top three in the league since their bye week. Both offenses have been up and down throughout the season.
Absolutely.
I do think that the biggest question mark I see is the Chargers offensive line. Justin Herbert is the highest pressured quarterback in the league. And now he has to go up against the best defense in the NFL with two guys that have double-digit sacks this season. So no matter how inconsistent the Texans offense might be, the defense can win them games. The defense will win them this game. I'm going 20-17 Houston.
I love it, man. Um, I just think that regardless, it's going to be a defensive shootout. And you're right, the Chargers, especially offense, that they've been inconsistent, and I only say that above the Texans because the Texans have kind of been mediocre all year with a few highs and lows. The
Mhm.
Chargers, when you got Justin Herbert at quarterback, you think this guy's going to sling it down the field. You look at the weapons on paper; they don't look that bad, but they're all, that you got some aging guys in Keenan Allen. Lad McConkey hasn't had the year that you'd hope for. And there are other guys, Guyton and whatever, they are not performing the way that you'd hope if you're a Chargers fan. But they have found the ways to win their games. They are at home. I could see this game going either way, but if we're going off a defensive matchup, it's the Texans for me. Um, all right, and so our last game of the Saturday slate, and for this video, we take a look at the Ravens and the Packers, which on paper, again, you'd think this is going to be a really good game, but you're potentially going into this without Lamar Jackson again, who just cannot seem to beat the injury bug this season. Really has been incredibly disappointing. And another talking point, there was an article released today from the Baltimore Sun, and it's been talked about on Fox Sports, that the relationship between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson is deteriorating, and that it doesn't look good, which is a very, very concerning thing if you're a Ravens fan. I mean, you just paid this guy a ton of money to come back and be your quarterback of the future for the next 10 some odd years. But honestly, And Xander, you understand this with the frustrations at head coach. I think fans are getting sick of John Harbaugh, and I think Lamar Jackson, if this story is true, it all ties back to John Harbaugh. You
Oh,
look
absolutely.
you look at this Ravens game last week versus the Patriots, man. They were up 11 points, and Derrick Henry was carrying the ball and averaging 7.1 yards per carry. And in the fourth quarter, Patriots are making a run, and you take him out of the game. The guy had scored two touchdowns for you already. I do not understand the logic behind that. What happened on the sideline for Harbaugh to be like, all right, you're not playing. I don't get it at all. And I think that Harbaugh makes those irrational moves a lot of the time, and decision making is terrible. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm looking at my career, I'm like, damn, I'm getting injured a lot. And the way I play, I don't have the the guarantee of playing a very long career. Like he's already 8 years into his career. He could realistically, with his play style and the injuries, not be a starter in 5 years. Now, I don't think that will be the case, but you never know. Things happen. If you're Lamar Jackson, you want to get somewhere where you have the best chance to win. And I don't know if that he thinks that that's the Baltimore Ravens right now. Of course, this is all speculation through this article that came out today. Um, but that's a whole side story. Taking a look at this game specifically, you're gonna have Tyler Huntley playing again. Hopefully, they decide to play Derrick Henry a little bit more, give him those touches because he seems to be the saving grace of your offense right now. Zay Flowers had a decent game up until the fumble, but it's like the one guy you can count on consistently right now is Derrick Henry, and you're going up against a real good defense. Yes, they are without Micah Parsons now, but that defense is still young and they're still solid. Jordan Love, do we have an update on him? Do we know if he's going to be coming back and playing this week?
He's still in concussion protocol.
Yeah, so it's going to be determined. We'll
Mhm.
find that out within the next few days. It's only Wednesday at the time of recording this. You assume you hear something by Friday, probably. Um, I mean, yeah, if Jordan Love doesn't play in this game, that changes things a little bit. You certainly have the opportunity to have a Ravens upset, but I don't see it happening. I think Jordan Love clears the protocol by that time. So, given that, I think the Packers win this one 24-17.
Yeah. So both teams are in desperation mode. You have Baltimore 2 games behind the Steelers in the division, and Green Bay hasn't clinched a playoff spot yet. Both teams are also dealing with quarterback injuries. Lamar has that back issue. Love is in concussion protocol. Even if Lamar does play, I don't I don't know if he can even lead Baltimore to a win considering his struggles recently and his injury concerns. I just don't know. Ever since he came back from that hamstring injury, he's just been really inconsistent. He's
Yeah.
thrown interceptions. He's had fumbles. He can't make the open passes. And even when he does make those passes, the receivers drop the ball or say they do catch the ball and they're getting some yards after the catch. They fumble at the goal line. We saw it with Likely. We saw it with Flowers. It's this Ravens team is a mess, man. And going back to John Harbaugh, he absolutely should be fired. And I think he should have been fired years ago years ago. He's too inconsistent as a head coach. His schemes are outdated. Um, him and Tomlin are in the same realm, where I think a change of scenery could benefit those coaches. Still think Harbaugh, even with outdated schemes, can ultimately, if he were to say, "Hey, get hired by Tennessee," I think he can lead Tennessee to a playoff year. And same thing to with Tomlin. Say Tomlin gets hired with the Giants. I think Tomlin can lead the Giants to the playoffs. I'm not saying these guys are going to lead those respective teams to playoff wins or Super Bowls, but I do think that they can turn around those franchises, in my opinion. Um, but like I mentioned, Packers are at home. It's a primetime game. A playoff spot is on the line. Say Love and Lamar are out. I trust Malik Willis over Tyler Huntley at the end of the day. I just do. I love what Willis has shown us throughout his playing time in the NFL so far. Say it's Willis versus Lamar. I don't know. I think it's closer. Maybe Baltimore escapes with a win, but I don't know. I The Ravens are just too inconsistent of a team. If Love plays, it's 100% Green Bay. So right now, I'm thinking both quarterbacks don't play. And even if the Ravens do throw out Lamar out there, he's still dealing with that back injury. So I got to go with Green Bay in this matchup. I think it's a tight game. I'm going 23-20 Packers.
Yeah, and you bring up a fantastic point about Lamar and his playing style since being back. And one, I think it just looks like he's not fully healthy anyway. Clearly, that's the case. But when they brought him back, I don't think he was healthy enough to play either. On top of that, I think again, we talked about his longevity for his career and how guys with his play style don't always last the longest. Is he starting to realize that he has a pretty aggressive play style? We haven't seen him take off for those runs, whether that's the hamstring or him being a little bit conservative. I, I mean, he just hasn't been Lamar Jackson. He hasn't been the MVP candidate that he has been over the last 6 years of his playing career. It's an interesting thing to see. I forgot to mention that Baltimore Sun article had mentioned that he said how much he would like to play in Miami. So that is something to
Mhm.
watch.
And he's from Florida too.
Yep, and with Tua Tagovailoa, in my opinion, being out the door after this season,
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah.
Hold up.
What, you think
I
that's a
like
hot
it.
take?
No, I don't think it's a hot take because say the I like it. I like it. I like it. It's not a hot take. Here's why I like it. Ravens are about to get eliminated from the playoffs. I think they lose on Saturday. If they lose, they're done. I think they completely rebuild. The Harbaugh experiment is over. Or not experiment, but Harbaugh's canned. I think they completely retool the team, completely retool the system. I would not be surprised if they trade Lamar Jackson. And I think at this point in time, he might want to be traded. The front office hasn't built a Super Bowl contending team under him. He doesn't have enough playmakers. It's basically the Lamar Jackson show. Sure, you now have Derrick Henry, but he's only been in the system for the last 2 seasons. Sure, you have Zay Flowers, but outside of Zay Flowers, you have Rashad Bateman, kind of inconsistent. You have Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews, he's getting
Worst,
up there in
worst,
age.
worst year of his career this year.
And yes, this is the worst year of his career. I think Lamar wants a change of scenery. I know he promised a Super Bowl out of Baltimore, and he's going to tell the media, hey, like my heart's in Baltimore. I want to play for Baltimore. But with Tua being benched, I think I think in the back of Lamar's mind, hey, sunny Florida, Miami. I'm from that area. They need a quarterback. Let's play. Let's get it
Yeah.
done.
Dude, could you imagine the AFC East with Josh Allen, Drake May, and Lamar Jackson?
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. That
Man,
would be beautiful.
it's another 10 years of misery for the Jets, bro. It's
Oh,
gonna
100%,
dude.
100%.
Oh my
I
God.
also read somewhere that the Jets might look to trade for Joe Burrow, and that's a topic for another video.
Could you imagine all four of those guys in the East? Well, you might see the four teams make the playoffs every single year.
Mm-hmm.
That would
Mm-hmm.
be insane. But that is a off-season discussion that we will have once the Super Bowl has run its course. But for right now, that is the Thursday night or Christmas games through the Saturday slate. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check back in later this week. We'll have the Sunday slate, the Sunday night slate, as well as the Monday night slate for you guys, our predictions and what we think of the teams in their current standing and who ultimately who's going to make the playoffs. So make sure to tune into that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. All right. So we'll pick up at Buccaneers Fall.
Seattle, Carolina.
Oh, Seattle, Carolina.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking, I have most of my shit written down. I have the spreads written down. I could like lead you into a discussion. What do you think
About
about
each.
each of these games? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. All right. Let me know when to go.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, welcome to In the Pocket Podcast. I'm Xander Cook, joined alongside Max Sturm. Logan Martin is unfortunately not able to join us. At the time of filming, it is Christmas Eve, so he is with family. Luckily, Max and I are able to grind it out for you guys, but Logan will give us his spreads and picks, so he's not completely out of the video. Don't you worry. Um, But let's get into it. We just wrapped up the Christmas games. We wrapped up the Saturday night games. So it's on to 1 p.m. So we're going to showcase the 1 p.m. games, the 4 o'clock games, Sunday night and Monday night games. So let's get this started. First game is Seattle Seahawks at the Carolina Panthers. The spread is -7 Seattle. This is a thrilling matchup, Max. Both offenses have come to life. Obviously, Seattle's offense has been killer throughout this entire season, but Carolina's offense in particular has come to life. Bryce Young looks like a stud. Both of these teams are coming off of intense wins that put them on top of the division. The game also features the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is Tet McMillan. I think that the -7 spread is a little too much. Call me crazy. What do you think, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's way too much, especially with Carolina playing at home. You know that the Seahawks are the road warriors. You know they go out and they play well on the road. Uh, both of these teams, like you said, coming off of crazy wins. Seattle with the win in the what I think is the game of the year so far versus the Rams and winning that one, and then the Panthers beating division rival and really the only team that has a shot at winning the NFC South outside of Carolina. Last week they beat the Buccaneers. Um, yeah, it's too much. I think the Panthers have too much to play for. If they lose this game and Tampa Bay beats Miami, then it's week 18 that they decide who is it's a winner takes all for the division. And while that would be an awesome matchup, an awesome game to watch with that on the line for both of these teams, especially with Tampa Bay being the reigning champion of the last 5 years of that division, uh, the Panthers, they know what they're playing for. They don't want to have to play for next week. They win this game, they win the division, I believe is how it comes out, correct? So uh what better way to do it than to get a statement win at home versus Seattle and that highly powered offense and defense that we have seen out of the Seahawks this year. Do I think it's going to happen? I think Seattle's the best team in the league right now. The way that they have been playing. I mean the Rams are up there. The Rams are 1A, 1B for me and they're both in the same division. But I think Seattle right now is the best team as of right after week 16, but I don't think it's going to be a huge point spread. I think that Seattle wins this one in a tight game. Bryce Young has been balling out. We've seen Sam Darnold have the turnover problems. I think that keeps the Panthers in this game as well, especially with how well their defense has been playing and picking off guys. Um, yeah, when it's this close, man, I like to keep it a one score game when I do my predictions. Give me 28-27 Seattle, and don't be surprised if the Panthers win this game.
You know what? I'm right there with you when you said don't be surprised if the Panthers win this game. This Panthers team beat the Rams and beat the Packers this year. Bryce Young against defenses with top 10 pressure rates has looked stellar. He has 8 touchdowns and only 1 interception, a 105.2 quarterback rating, and in those 5 matchups, 5 wins. Now you look at the Seattle Seahawks, they have a top 5 pressure rate. So will Bryce lead his team to another upset and become 6-0 against teams with a top 10 pressure rate? I wouldn't put it past Carolina to do so, but this Seattle team is so different, man. From top to bottom, they are, in my opinion, in your opinion, the best team in the NFL. The offense can put up 35 points if they wanted to. The defense can shut teams out if they wanted to. Special teams, Myers is on track to have over 40 field goals made. I think the NFL record belongs to David Akers, 44 made field goals. Myers is at 37 right now, so he can maybe break that record. And then you have Raheed Shaheed. That dude can take back punts for touchdowns. So this, like I mentioned, top to bottom, this is the best team in the NFL. I think Seattle gets it done, but it's going to be close. I'm going 24-20.
Yeah, man, it's just like this is an awesome matchup. And remember earlier this year when the Panthers played the Dallas Cowboys and it was like I'm picking the Panthers as my upset of the week over the Cowboys. Look how far that team has come, man. I mean, we
Oh
talked
my God,
so
I
much
know.
bad about Bryce Young and the way that he has played throughout his career. He's had a second half of the season surge, and I love to see it for him. I love to see it for this Panthers team. a team that has been really the laughing stock of the league over the last few years, really has a chance to win this division, which I would not have said at the beginning of the year. I said they could maybe win 7 games at the beginning of this year, and they're at 8 right now, and they have a chance to be at 10. Um, so don't be surprised if they win this game, but like you and I both said, just outstanding, crazy good roster for Seattle. I think that's enough to get it done. All right, take us to our next game.
All right, next game we got the Cardinals at the Bengals. Spread right now is -7.5, favored for the Bengals. This matchup, in my opinion, is exciting. And I'll lead into that when I talk, but to lead you in, both of these teams have terrible, and I mean terrible defenses. So will we see a shootout? Go for it.
Okay, yeah. All right. So when you look at these two teams throughout this year, obviously Joe Burrow was out for a little bit. The team as a whole this year is averaging 24 points per game. The last three, it's only up to 26. And then you look at the Arizona Cardinals, 21 on the year, but the last three, it's been 18, almost 19 points that they've averaged per game. But you talk about these defenses and what they've given up. Arizona has given up 37 points per game in the last three, while Cincinnati has given up 28. Both just abysmal, but Arizona especially to give up that many points in the last 3 games. It's just, I mean, I don't know if they give up that much, if Jacoby Brissett can really compete with that. And you see Joe Burrow, who is still a top 5 quarterback in this league, on the other side with two top 20 wide receivers. One of them is maybe top one, and the other one is probably top 15 as well. Chase Brown doing his thing. Um, one offense is significantly better than the other, and I think that is Cincinnati. Um, I think that's really all it comes down to me, is that one offense is better than the other and probably can be a little bit more punishing on the defense than the other. So give me Cincinnati to win this game. I'll take it 27-20.
Hmm. Yeah, so Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they just coasted to a win against the Dolphins. Burrow finished with over 300 passing yards. He had 4 touchdowns, and now he gets to have a similar stat line against Arizona, I think. The Cardinals rank 21st in passer rating allowed, and they also rank 19th in passing yards allowed per attempt. The Cardinals also lost 7 straight games now, with an average margin of defeat over their past 3 games being over 18 points. They also just lost Garrett Williams and Walter Nolan for the year this past week. Now, you look at the Bengals defense, they had one of the league's worst defenses all year, and they rank dead last in the league versus tight ends. So McBride is going to have himself a day, dude. He already has over 100 catches this season. He has over 1,000 receiving yards. He's double digit in touchdowns. So Jacoby Brissett is going to feed the hell out of him. And the Bengals defense, they're dead last as a unit in general. They're just a really, really bad defense. Lot of questions for the offseason. We're gonna see in the offseason how they answer, but this is on track to be one of the worst defenses of all time. Sad, sad thing. But last time Jacoby Brissett faced a bottom three defense, it was against Dallas, and the Cardinals ended up winning that game 27-17. I think this is a shootout. I'm expecting a lot of points in this matchup, but the key is who has the better quarterback, and to me, that's Cincinnati night and day. I'm going 38-30 Cincinnati.
Wow, yeah, high score, and I could totally see it. Yeah, because both of these defense are just terrible, especially
Oh, they're
Cincinnati.
horrible.
And if Cincinnati plays as bad as we all expect them to, Joe Burrow might need to drop 40 points to win this game. And we've seen the Cardinals with Jacoby Brissett have those games where they score 30 plus points. They haven't done it as of recently. And like you mentioned, they're on a 7 game losing streak. Bengals obviously got the win last week over Miami. So yeah, I could totally see a shootout. All right, what do you got next? What's on tap?
So up next, we got Steelers at Browns. It is -3 favored with the Steelers. I'll kick this one off. I have been picking against the Steelers for some time now. I've also picked for them for a few games. This team is very bipolar, extremely bipolar. All right, but here's the thing: The Steelers defense has turned a corner over the last couple weeks. They're allowing 19 and a half points per game. And oh my Lord, this stat makes me want to do unspeakable things. 39 rushing yards per game. That's an absurd stat line considering they had to face Devon Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs. Unbelievable stat line. And mind you, they had to face Achane without Derek Harmon and TJ Watt. They had to face Jahmyr Gibbs without TJ Watt and Nick Herbig. The fact that they limited Detroit to 15 rushing yards is insane. Beautiful, beautiful game plan. All credit to Terrell Austin, all credit to Mike Tomlin on that part. And I don't credit them often, but that was a beautifully coached game against the run. I loved it. But the defense isn't the only unit that stepped up. Aaron Rodgers has led the Steelers to over 27 points per game over their 3-game winning streak. Now you look at the Browns. Cleveland just lost Judkins to a broken leg. Saw that happen. My gut sank. That looked awful. So prayers to Quinshon Judkins. He's been a dog this season, hoping for the best for him. I'm hoping he gets right for next season because he's going to have a great career. But because he's out with that leg injury, the ground game should not be a cause of concern for the Steelers, plain and simple. But Cleveland can still pull off a win. And here's why. Steelers are going to be without DK Metcalf. That's going to limit the Steelers' passing game even more. He's their only stud wideout that they have. Now without DK Metcalf, it's Adam Thielen, MVS, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson's going to get some playing time. Those aren't guys I really want to pass to. So I'm going to see Aaron Rodgers throwing a lot of footballs to Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington. Maybe some catches here and there to Austin. Maybe some catches here and there to Wilson. Not only that, the Steelers could have the division clinched by Saturday night if Baltimore loses. And if that's the case, they're going to rest some starters. Mike Tomlin already came out and said if that division is clinched by Sunday, he's going to rest some starters. But here's the way I look at it. Mike Tomlin is statistically great against rookie quarterbacks. I don't think Shedeur Sanders will fare well against a defense that's starting to get hot at the right time. So I got to go with my team here, 20-15 Steelers.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You sent the text the other day that the statistic difference between when JJ Watt has played and when he hasn't played. And it's just crazy. Without him, they have been a better unit. You would never
Mm-hmm.
think that. It's crazy because the guy draws double teams and all that. And now there's no one being double teamed, so they're having a little bit more success pass rushing as well. But Xander, this game is really open and closed for me. It comes down to who has the better offense. And that obviously is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers has found a way to start, I wouldn't say bringing back his old self, but playing at a higher level than he has in the beginning of this season and how he did with the Jets. And you look at Cleveland and they're only scoring 16 points per game. They had a great game against Buffalo last week, but Shedeur Sanders still, after that first drive, where he threw the touchdown, threw 2 interceptions, and had a rough day after that in the second half. The Cleveland's defense is really what kept them in that game, and Buffalo's defense also being kind of bad. But they just don't have the offense to compete in this game. It is a divisional matchup. They are at home, but right, they are at home, or is Cleveland on the road?
Cleveland. Cleveland's at home.
Yeah, Cleveland's at home. I just don't think it's enough. You're right. Tomlin just does so well against rookie quarterbacks and exposing that and disguising his defenses and making it harder for that guy to have success. So for me, I got Pittsburgh winning this one. I'll give them the 28 they've been averaging over the last 3 days. Or last 3 games. I say 28-14.
I like it, man. And a little side note, Myles Garrett, 22 sacks on the year. He's
Yes.
absolutely going to break the record. And he's a dog. I don't like Myles Garrett only because not just is he a divisional foe, but he did my dog Mason Rudolph wrong. All right. So I'm always going to hate Myles Garrett. But it's a good thing that he's going to break the record. I absolutely think he's going to break the record. He's had a tremendous season. All credit where it's due. I just hope to God it is not against us on Sunday. He needs one sack to break it.
He
I
only needs
am
one.
praying he does not break it against us.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried they were going to break it against Buffalo last week. He had that half sack, and God, if they
Totally gimmicky, by the way. What was that? Bull crap, is that a half sack?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't. It's literally because Josh Allen gave himself up. That's all it was. They
And
credited
he
the closest guys.
not only that, he didn't really give himself up. He tripped. He
Yeah.
tripped. I wouldn't say that's giving himself
Which
up.
when
So,
we talk about Buffalo later on in this episode, I'll get a little bit more into that. Um, because there's some external things that might affect this week that are happening with that. All
mm,
right. What is next?
yeah. So up next, we got Jaguars at Colts. Spread is at -6.5 in favor of Jacksonville, as it should be. Philip Rivers may or may not get the start. I'm hearing that Riley Leonard might get it,
Yep.
or it could ultimately be Philip Rivers. I mean, this 44-year-old came off the couch and he's calling up plays at the line of scrimmage, telling people where to go. I mean, we're witnessing some nice early 2010s, mid 2000s football right now. All right. We are watching Philip Rivers be a dog. I love it. I miss this. But with the Colts playoff hopes hanging by a thread, is he going to get his first win this season?
Not against the Jaguars. He's not going to get it
Why
against
is
the
that?
Jaguars. The Jaguars are just simply put the better team. Philip Rivers, he didn't have a terrible game against San Francisco, but he threw that pick six. He had a great start, but ultimately he's 44 years old. He doesn't sling the ball like he used to. And against this Jaguars defense, which we have already talked about in the previous episode, as being super underrated and being able to disguise well, I just don't think that they're really going to stand a chance. This game 3 weeks ago is a potential game of the week candidate, and we're all really excited for it. And then Daniel Jones goes down with the injury, and the game is it's not meaningless, but I don't see a way that the Jaguars lose this game. So I've got the Jaguars winning this one 30 to 30 to 17.
All right. Jaguars, they're one of the hottest teams in the league, winners of six straight. Average margin of victory in that span max is basically 19 points.
Insane.
Holy
That's
crap.
insane.
That is insane. That is insane. And that defense, they can force takeaways. They've already forced over 24. I think they're at 27 right now. They're playing unreal. I think that more people need to look at that Jaguars defense. They have turned it around from last season. It is night and day difference. I love it. And then you look at the offense. Trevor Lawrence, he's been playing at an MVP level. He's showing why he is that number one overall pick. And under Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence has found that spark. We haven't seen that spark since the Jags made the playoffs a few years ago under Trevor Lawrence. But this is different. Trevor Lawrence is different from that playoff run a couple years ago. This dude is playing unreal football right now. He is limiting turnovers. He's throwing for a lot of yards. He can make plays on the ground. The play action setup is beautiful. He has a beautiful deep ball. He just knows where to pinpoint the football over this stretch. And this is something we haven't seen Trevor Lawrence do throughout his NFL career. Now he is all credit, not all credit, but a lot of the credit towards Liam Cohen. And then you look at the Colts. This Colts team once had a 98% chance to make the playoffs. Now they are clinging for their life in this matchup. The Jaguars will squeeze whatever remaining life the Colts have out of them. I don't trust Philip Rivers or the Colts team in general at this moment in time. 30 to 17 Jaguars. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I just don't think that the Colts have what it takes. It's a cool story for Philip Rivers coming out of retirement to do this. It brings back a lot of nostalgia because watching him on the Chargers growing up, he was so fun to watch, and he still is fun to watch. The way he gets hyped up when he scores and goes and talks to the other team and talks to his team, it's so cool to watch, and it reminds me of my younger days growing up. But bringing in a guy of that age and him not being able to sling it the way that he used to, it's just not going to be enough. It's a sad thing that happened with the Colts this year because they truly did look like they had AFC championship potential. But it's just,
It looked like they had Super Bowl potential. I know you and I, during their 7-1 stretch, you and I both thought, and I know Logan was thinking it too. This could be a legit playoff threat. The offense was averaging damn near 33 points per game. Jonathan Taylor was balling out. He was having a better season than Saquon at that time. Daniel Jones completely rejuvenized his career. The defense was looking good. And then all of a sudden, after they lost to Pittsburgh, it went downhill.
That defense has fallen off so bad, and honestly, I think they got worse after they got Sauce Gardner. They've been a worse
Hmm.
defense since they got him. Of course, then he goes down with the injury. The last 3 games, they've given up 34 points a game. It just hasn't looked pretty for that side of the ball, despite what Philip Rivers can or can't do on the offensive side of the ball. They're just not able to get the stops when needed. Brock Purdy lit him up on Monday night. But yeah, they're holding on to their hopes. They would essentially have to win the division with Buffalo, Jacksonville, and the Chargers all securing a playoff spot. With the Indianapolis Colts loss on Monday, so it's tough sledding for them. I don't think that they're able to do it, but they have a lot of potential in the next few years with Daniel Jones coming back if he can be healthy and he can return to what he was doing. All right, next on tap.
100%. Next one, we got Buccaneers at Dolphins. It is -5.5 in favor of the Buccaneers. And look, this Buccaneers team, what a fall off they have had in the last 6 games, man. It is depressing to watch. Super depressing. And then you look at the Dolphins, they just benched Tua for the remainder of the season. He's not even their backup, he's their emergency QB. What are we going to see in this game? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Quinn Ewers he has got a game under his belt now. He played Cincinnati, couldn't even keep it close with that bad defense. I think it's going to take a little bit more time for him to get adjusted. And I don't even think if what we were talking about with the Ravens does in the Ravens and the Dolphins does come true with that being a potential trade spot for Lamar Jackson, he might not even be the starter there next year. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, win this game. They've got a lot on the line. They need to fight for it next week. The only way they can do that is beat Miami in Miami. Quinn Ewers, I just no disrespect to him. I think he's a great quarterback. Not going to be able to do it in this game on just his second start. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. It's going to be lower scoring too. I already know this could has like boring game potential. I'm going to say 17-14.
Ooh, that's ugly.
Yeah.
That's real ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Bowles' defense, they've been atrocious since their week 9 bye. They rank 28th in total defense, almost 370 yards per game, and they rank 29th in scoring defense, just over 28 points per game. And this stat blows my mind. They are tied with the Bengals for dead last in yards per play allowed, over 6, almost 6.5. Baker Mayfield, he looked like the league's MVP for a good stretch in the beginning of the year. But he's looked like a bottom 5 quarterback in their last 6 games, under 160 passing yards per game, 57% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and just under 73 quarterback rating.
I
Can
think
they
that
turn things?
shoulder injury was a huge part of it too. I think that was the turning point as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So can they turn things around against Miami? I think they will. Miami had Pittsburgh score on 4 consecutive drives for the first time since 2018, and the Bengals just dropped 45 points on them. Quinn Ewers, against the worst defense in the league, made them look like a top 5 defensive unit. The Dolphins only scored 21 points, and they had 3 turnovers. Like you mentioned, I like Quinn Ewers. I like them at Texas. I don't like him at Miami right now. I There's just too much on the line for the Buccaneers, as you mentioned. So I'm going Tampa in this one, 27-20.
Yeah,
And then
I just don't see a scenario where the Dolphins are able to outduel the Buccaneers in this one. All right, go ahead.
exactly. So Patriots at Jets, holy spread. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. -13.5 for New England. Ooh. So last time these two teams played, the spread was at -13.5. I had the Patriots covering. And Logan said, "Ah, with the spread that big, don't let it fool you. When the spread is typically that big, this is the NFL. You don't see teams normally cover a 13 and a half, 14-point spread." And he was right. The Jets barely covered that spread. So, do you think we're going to see the same in this matchup?
Yeah, I just think with it being divisional Jets at home, there's what did you say the spread was? 19?
13 and a half.
Oh, 13 and a half. Okay, still, I don't see it being something that they're able to cover, especially with the Patriots these last few weeks coming off the bye. They've played a little choppy, man. They haven't been the team that we've seen early on. Now, their last few games have been against tougher opponents. They're playing who even is the Jets quarterback now? I'm trying to remember his name.
Brady Cook.
Yeah, Brady Cook. I yeah, I think that the Patriots are going to win by a lot. Yes. I don't know that they cover though, just with it being divisional and the Jets being at home and that the fact that after their bye week they just haven't seemed to be the same team, but they're still winning the game or they won their game against Baltimore last week. But yeah, I don't think that they cover the spread, but they still do win by a good margin. So I'm comfortable with giving them a 27 to uh let's see, 27 to 17 score. I think 10 points is probably the win they'll come away with.
All right. So the Jets have lost by more than 3 touchdowns in each of the past 3 weeks. Brady Cook, the offense under him, has averaged an NFL worst 3.6 yards per play, while Aaron Glenn's defense has given up 37 points a game in that
Mhm.
stretch. Oh my goodness, man. That is disgusting. It is outrageous. That is a defensive head coach, and your defense is giving up 37 points a game. That should not be allowed. Maybe it's time to have some discussion about Aaron Glenn's future as a New York Jet, but again, that's a video for another time. Patriots are going to have a field day on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. I think this is a game where Drake May can add hardware to his resume. And when I say hardware, I'm talking MVP. May VP, all right? He leads the league in completion percentage and he's second in yards per attempt. He just had his first 300-yard game, and now he gets to play the Jets, who let Trevor Lawrence score 6 times on them 2 weeks ago. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I'm backing up my statement of 13 and a half a few weeks ago when the spread was 13 and a half this time in Foxborough. I'm backing that up. I think it gets done this time. I'm going 34-16 New England.
And listen, man, I am a Jets fan this weekend. I'm absolutely a Jets fan this weekend. They have to lose for the Buffalo Bills to win the division. I believe they have to drop both of these games now to New York and to Miami. So I will be rooting for them the next few weeks, but it's just unrealistic, man. Drake May has been balling. He puts up 380 yards last week. He had the turnovers in that game as well, but uh, me and you talked, or me and Logan, me and you talked about it with he's just he's found a way to he's not scared of the adversity that he faces. He gets adversity, he goes down a bit, he doesn't care. He comes back, he keeps a straight face and he goes out and he plays his game and a lot of the times it works out for him. It did in that game. He looked like the MVP in that game. I hate to say it, but he absolutely did. Especially in that second half and the comeback that they made. So yeah, I will be a Jets fan, but I'm not counting on anything.
I like it. Moving on. Saints at Titans. Spread is minus 2.5, favored towards the Saints. And look, this game, it looks like two really shitty teams, but it's two shitty teams with a promise.
Yep.
You have Tyler Shuck on one side of the ball looking like he's legit, and then you have Cam Ward who's proving to be the number one pick recently. I like this matchup for the quarterbacks. What do you think, Max?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Tyler Show has really shown out in these last few games. They beat the Buccaneers and then last week they got the dub as well. And now you're taking a look at them playing Cam Ward and the Titans, who have been a bottom five team all year, and their defense isn't great. So I think that the Saints have a real good chance to win this game. They come out and they finish the year on a high note. Let's see, what do they sit at right now? They're 5-10. And I don't know what our predictions were at the beginning of the year, but I think that's right around the range of what we said the high side could be, right?
I don't know about eyesight. I think I know that I was like, damn, I don't know if this team can win a game,
Yeah.
maybe 2 games. I think the ceiling I
I think
had
that
for
was
them
where
was
we
like
you and
three or
I had some
four.
disagreement where I thought maybe the Saints could win 5 or 6 games. Well, here's their opportunity. They can win 6 games this year if they beat the Titans on Sunday. And it's a very winnable game for them, especially the way they've been playing. You've got Taysom Hill taking reps at RB1, which is
Woo!
it's so strange. Especially with our boy Naeem Hines out there, man. Put him in the game.
Hmm.
Let him tear it up a little bit. But you know what? It's been working for them. Without Alvin Kamara, they still had a great week last week. Um, yeah, I mean, this one seems pretty simple to me. I think the Saints are the better team. Cam Ward had a great game last week. Um, can they do it again? It could be a close game, and I think I'll keep it a close game. I'm gonna say 24-21 Saints. I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I like it. So the Saints, they're starting to gel. Tyler Shuck, he looks like the answer for New Orleans. He's fourth in the NFL with a 68.2 completion percentage since his first start in Week 9. He's led game-winning drives in back-to-back weeks. The first one against Tampa, he had a couple scores on the ground, and then his the game after was against Carolina, drove the team down the field, threw a game-winning touchdown to Chris Olave, and then he looked pretty good against the Jets. Had a comfortable win last week. So the Saints are looking like they can be a pretty good team. And then you look at their defense. They've been tremendous in their winning streak. They have allowed just over 14 points per game. Now you look at the Titans. Cam Ward, he's starting to show a lot of promise. Multiple touchdowns in 3 straight games. But to me, I like the team that's better on both sides of the ball and has the better coaching staff. Right now, that team for me is the Saints. So I have them winning this game 26-16. I like this matchup. I think Cam Ward can throw a couple touchdowns, and I think Shuck has another great game.
Yeah, I think the Saints will take this one. I think it could be closer than what you're projecting as well, but time will tell.
Mm. So 4 p.m. games, finally. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of 1 p.m. games, brother.
Yeah.
But finally moving on to the 4 p.m. games, Giants at Raiders. The spread is -1.5 in favor for the Giants.
Oh my God, what are we freaking witnessing? Dude, I don't even think I could be paid to watch that game.
I will not be watching that game. But there's a lot at stake in this matchup. Max, these two teams, whoever loses, pretty much gets the number one pick.
Are they gonna? I want to see if they fight to see who can lose. That's what I think might happen. I think both
Yeah.
these teams could totally go into this and want to throw it. Unfortunately for the Raiders, Brock Bowers goes down with a season-ending injury. He's been placed on IR,
Mhm.
so there goes your number one weapon. They're gonna have to rely a lot on Ashton Genty to kind of be the guy who takes your team, and if they even want to win, they use him. But Jackson Dart over Geno Smith. That's what it comes down to me. And Jackson Dart is the guy who I trust more, which is crazy in his first year. But I do trust
Mm.
Jackson Dart to produce more points than I think that the Raiders are capable of doing. So give me the Giants to win this game. This is an absolute shitter bowl. Um, Dude, just for the joke, I'm gonna say it's 10-7 because I would not be surprised if these teams do not play their full playbook and go into the game with the full expectation and um um you know they don't want to win. I don't think either team really wants to win. You get the number one overall pick if you lose this game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're gonna see a lot of wacky plays in this matchup. Um, yeah, that number one pick, it's at stake in this matchup. Raiders and Giants both lost nail biters this past week. Jackson Dart, dude, he is a fun quarterback to watch, and he should find some success with his legs against Vegas. I love Jackson Dart. I was high on Jackson Dart in the draft. I've said this all podcast. Jackson Dart is the man. Get that dude a coach, get that dude some weapons, get that dude an offensive line, and he will be a top 5 quarterback in 5 years. I promise you. I love that guy. Oh, he's so fun to watch. You look at the Raiders. They just had a solid showing against the NFL's best defense. Ashton Genty exploded over 140 rushing yards, and he had a ton of success in the passing game as well. Now he gets to face a team that's bottom five against the run. Sure, the Giants can get after Geno Smith, but if Vegas lets Genty run free, I think they get the win. And knowing Pete Carroll, ooh, actually, that's a weird statement. Knowing Pete Carroll lean on Ashton Genty, Pete Carroll didn't even lean on Marshawn Lynch in
Bro,
Super Bowl
he doesn't run the
59.
ball. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so I backtracked that statement. Hopefully, Pete Carroll isn't an idiot. Let Genty run wild. This is a bottom five rush defense. Genty just torched the NFL's number one defense. Let him get going. See what kind of potential you have out of this guy. Run him free. 21-13 Raiders. That's my prediction.
All right. Yeah, I got nothing more for that.
This is, oh, another game of the week. And this one's exciting. Eagles at Bills, -1.5 Buffalo Max kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot to talk about in this matchup. You've got a guy who's still in the MVP running in Josh Allen going up against the best or one of the best on paper roster defenses in the league. And really on a team that has kept them afloat thus far. The defense has been the carrying force behind the Eagles winning the division in the NFC East this year. Bills are not without their flaws. In fact, the team is very flawed if you take a deep look at them. This, like you mentioned earlier with the Ravens are the Lamar Jackson show. I think at an even more extreme, as an even more extreme statement and standpoint, Buffalo is the Josh Allen show. It's all about whether Josh Allen can perform and carry the team on his back. And so many times this season against great teams, he has done that, and they have relied on it, and it has carried them far. Last week versus the Browns, they did not have a great game, but luckily the defense was able to get some turnovers, and the Bills just needed to score a field goal or two more to get up in front. And that was a pretty devastating offensive performance from the Bills last week, and it went up against one of the best defenses in the league. So I'm not terribly worried about that part of it. But it's going to take a lot more than what you put up last week versus the Browns to beat the Eagles this week. Josh Allen, this is where it gets tough because I was having this conversation with my dad. The Bills have clinched. We talked about how the Chargers said or the Steelers, either team, if they clinch, do we rest starters? Josh Allen is dealing with an ankle injury that he suffered last week on a sack that he took, or rather where he fell down near the end zone. We saw what happened when Daniel Jones came back the next week fighting an ankle injury and decided to still play. He tore his other Achilles. If you're Buffalo, you absolutely cannot allow that to happen. So if Josh Allen is going to take on this responsibility and go into this game, you've got to, I'm not saying limit him, but he's got to play extra damn careful. You cannot be in a situation where your quarterback and honestly, unbiasedly, the best player in the National Football League is going to be in a position where he could be hurt. Um, this game is going to come down to which offense can play better. The Eagles defense is great in its own right. The Bills defense not so great. They have been torched in the run game all year long. And of course, Saquon Barkley is starting to turn it up here in these last few weeks. He is going to be a problem for Buffalo, and I guarantee you that when you ask Sean McDermott or Bobby Babich, the defensive coordinator, what is the number one thing you're looking out for on this Eagles offense? It is Saquon Barkley. You limit that, you force Jalen Hurts to pass. And not that he's a bad passer, but the pass game has not been overly successful for them this year outside of A.J. Brown and select games. So, which offense is going to be able to perform best? Can the Bills get some separation at the wide receiver position? Is Dalton Kincaid going to miss another game? Is he going to play? Because that's a huge factor, too. Josh Allen has not thrown an interception in a game where Dalton Kincaid has played. In every game that he hasn't, he's had at least one turnover. You got to see how that pans out. Having him on the field is a huge difference maker. I think that Buffalo has what it takes to beat this team. The Eagles' offense has not been what they have been in past years. If Josh Allen can put the team on his back, remain healthy, the Bills can win this game. It's going to be a close one. Give me the Bills to win this game 28-24.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. This is an interesting game in my opinion. You got the Bills. They have a really, really, really bad run defense. They're 30th in the league in terms of the run. Saquon is going to have himself a game. He just is. Uh, Washington, they're in the same realm in terms of run defense as Buffalo, and Saquon just rushed for over 130 rushing yards and a touchdown. So it's going to be tough for Buffalo to stop Saquon right now. But here's the thing, you can't count out the Winter Soldier. I like that nickname you've coined him. Josh Allen at home in December. You already clinched a spot in the playoffs, but you're still fighting for that division. I know that the Patriots play at 1 o'clock that day, but and the Bills play at 4:25. But by the time the Patriots game ends, that's when the Bills Eagles game is starting. So I'm assuming that Josh Allen is going to play in this. You can't count him out. This dude is lethal with the football. He makes plays that have you mesmerized. He's almost rhythmic in a way. He can throw those deep balls, launch it 60, 65 yards. He can make those 30-yard runs with his legs. He can stiff arm defenders. He can truck defenders. He can jump over guys. He is a rare breed of quarterback. He is Big Ben on steroids. All right. He's insane. I can go on and on about how good he is, but at the end of the day, that is the deciding factor when it comes to choosing who wins for me. It's Josh Allen. The Eagles' defense is awesome. Don't get me wrong, they are incredible. But then you look on the other side of the ball, the Eagles' offense has been inconsistent throughout the season. But now they're going up against the Bills' defense, and they've had their inconsistencies on their own. So I'm expecting this to be a close game. But like you mentioned, Max, like I'm mentioning, Josh Allen is going to win the Bills this game. I'm going to go with 22-16 Buffalo.
I love that. And another big factor in this game is, can the Bills also respond with a run game of their own? And James Cook, quietly, and I think very underrated, has been one of the best running backs in the league this year. He leads the NFL in rushing yards at this very moment, and let's see, top five in rushing touchdowns this year and scrimmage touchdowns. He's been great. He's been a great it's a great signing to go out and with all the contract disputes that he was having, the tough decision. Do we keep him? Do we let him go on his way? Buffalo made the right decision in re-signing this guy. He's had a fantastic year this far, better than last year already. And maybe not from the touchdown standpoint, but he's done very well rushing the ball. He's averaging, I think, just about 4 yards per carry this year. He's been fantastic. So can they respond in their own right by getting the run game going, which if they do, opens up the pass game. You got that Eagles secondary is so good. You got to be able to try and force them in a little bit and have some disguised look. Play action is going to be huge for the Bills in this game. And then the other factor that I didn't even consider up until this point, Buffalo is at home in December with Bills Mafia out there. It is going to be loud in that place there, and this is probably the biggest game that they host there this year. They are going to go absolutely nuts. It is going to be hard for Jalen Hurts to hear what he's hearing in his headset, and hard for the guys to hear it and hear the cadence. So yeah, that for those reasons, I think that Buffalo does pull out this win. Buffalo has played up to competition and down to competition, and this is a game that they've got to play up to the competition in. And when that has to happen, you know that 17's throwing the cape on his back.
100%, man. 100%. I mean, a lot of good things in terms of the Buffalo Bills this season, even with that defense. So it's going to be an exciting matchup, and it's going to be a game of the week matchup. So I'm excited to watch it. Moving on, we got Bears at 49ers. Spread is -3 in favor of the 49ers. These two teams, wow, what a season. I mean, the 49ers, 11 wins with Guys going on IR, guys being injured throughout the season. And then you look at the Bears, they've got, I think, 11 wins as well. If they win this game, they clinch the division. I mean, Ben Johnson is unreal as a head coach. Wow, has he transformed that entire franchise. This is this is my game of the week. This is going to be such a gorgeous game to watch. You get Ben Johnson versus Kyle Shanahan football. Two offensive powerhouse coaches. Max, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean you got it right. It's two teams that have had seasons that you wouldn't necessarily expect. I mean, I know you were high on the Bears going into this season, especially with the hire of Ben Johnson. I just didn't know that they were going to be able to take off the way that they have. And for that, I'm eating my words. I'm eating my words on Caleb Williams. I've eaten my words on a lot of things about the Chicago Bears this season, and I accept it and I love it because that NFC North division, when it is competitive, it is so fun to watch. So many old rivalries being reborn. It's like the start of a whole new what's it called when stars are born? I don't even know. It's like a nebula. But it's so cool seeing these. It's so cool seeing these teams all be competitive again. Um, but as far as the matchup itself goes, the 49ers have had a very favorable schedule this year, and I think that's helped them out with all the injuries and still getting the wins. But again, Brock Purdy is a guy that I think some of us have said is a game manager and didn't deserve all the money that he had been paid. Like maybe it was an overpay. I mean, since he's been back, and I said that Mac Jones should finish out the year. I'll eat my words on that too. Brock Purdy has played fantastic in these last few weeks, especially. I mean, versus the Colts, he throws 5 touchdowns, 300 yards. He had himself a game in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this is really, I think this is going to be a shootout, man.
Ooh.
This is going to be a shootout between two offenses that have a lot to prove to guys like myself who doubted both of these teams. And also for their own sake, the 49ers still have a chance to be the 1 seed. Isn't that crazy?
That's just so insane.
With the other two teams in that division being the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams, who I think are both top two, if not both top three teams in the league right now. The San Francisco 49ers can still jump both of them and win the division. The Chicago Bears
Crazy.
are leading their division right now, and I would not totally disagree with you if you wanted to put them in your top 5 teams as of right now. I don't
They
know that
are.
I would, but they are right there. Caleb Williams having himself a great year, especially last few games. That game versus the Packers started out pretty bad, but when it came down to it, that boy turned the light or the lights came on. That boy came alive, man. He had himself a great game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, I see a shootout. I see this one going into the 30s. I don't think either defense is fantastic, so I see it being a potentially high scoring game. I'm gonna go 37-34 in favor of the Chicago Bears.
Ooh. I like it. I like it. This is a primetime game for a reason. Both these teams have legit cases to be a Super Bowl contender this season. And if you told me that at the beginning of the year, I would have said, yeah, friggin' right. 49ers are playing elite ball even without playmakers throughout the season. Bears, they're finding ways to win somehow, some way. They're winning ugly, but they are the best fourth quarter team in the NFL. Here's my thoughts though. Chicago doesn't match up well against Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Kyle Shanahan's offensive schemes. Shanahan uses an outside zone run game that sets up play action passes. He uses motion, traps, and unique formations to create mismatches and easy yards for playmakers like Juwan Jennings and George Kittle to attack the perimeter and create vertical passing threats. Not to mention, the public play right now is currently the Chicago Bears, and I don't like that. So I think the 49ers escape with a narrow win. I like the 49ers right now, especially at home on prime time, especially after their performance against the Colts. 27-24.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up Kyle Shanahan's kind of philosophy and game plan on offense and the motions that they run because yeah, he's a very talented head coach in doing that. It's very creative play calling. But Xander, you're the Ben Johnson guy. Ben
I am.
Johnson
I
does this,
am.
dude. Come on. Ben Johnson's gonna dial up the same things against the defense that's injured without their starting linebacker who hasn't been there for several weeks now. But uh, they can expose that hole open over the middle with their own
So,
guys, with their running backs, with their wide receivers.
no, they definitely can. And I've been on the Ben Johnson hype train for the longest time. But look at the 49ers. Their defensive coordinator is Robert Saleh. That dude knows tricks from opposing coordinators. He is a stud. He is a mastermind of the game. So I think he is the reason why the 49ers will create some schemes defensively to target Caleb Williams. They're going to have a QB spy on him at all times. They're not a great pass rush team, but they don't have to be in this case. Caleb Williams makes most of his elite plays when he is pressured, when he uses his feet. When you don't have that elite pass rush, he's not going to make plays with his feet. So you don't really need to worry about that. Not only that QB spy on him at all times. I don't know. I just think Robert Saleh is going to have a beautifully coached game plan heading into this matchup. And if there's any coordinators out there that can limit the motions or anything of the sort, it's Steve Spagnuolo and Robert Saleh. And Vic Fangio. Love Vic Fangio.
Yeah, shout out Vic Fangio. Anyway, that's going to be a great game regardless.
Oh,
And
yeah.
both teams, there's a lot on the line. And there's a lot on the line for a lot of teams in this one. But you look at the 49ers, man, and the fact that you could still be the NFC's number one seed. There's a lot going into this game. You want to take out the Bears, who are also looking to be the number one seed.
Hmm.
That NFC right now is so tight. Any team in that top four could be the number one seed right now. Uh, and honestly, teams with five, 6, and 7 as well, with how the NFC West has shaped out this year. Anyway, take us into Monday night, final game.
Monday Night Football. The Rams at the Falcons. It is -7.5 in favor of the Rams. Rightfully so, in my opinion. Is this the game where Matthew Stafford cements his case as MVP? Or is this the game where the Falcons decide, hey, Raheem Morris, we're not going to fire you. We're going to keep you. You're on a 3-game winning streak now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this game because honestly, the Rams last few games, I mean, the defense we've talked about being one of the better defenses in the NFL as well, the top five earlier in this year, and then they have that performance against the Seattle Seahawks last week where they didn't look too good. Uh, Atlanta right now is giving up 24 points per game, and the LA Rams are putting up 31 points per game and only giving up 19 points per game. On paper, you'd think that this game is LA Rams all the way, but that defense of the Atlanta Falcons, man, that secondary specifically, I think there's a lot of improvement to be made on the line for the Falcons, the defensive line, and getting pressure. But that secondary is scary with AJ Terrell there and Jesse Bates in the backfield and all that. Um, man, this is a tough game because we saw the Rams lose to Carolina. There, there's no given wins on a Sunday, but I'm gonna stick with or on a Monday in this case. I'm gonna stick with my gut, and I'm gonna give it to the Rams. I have them winning 30-20.
Yeah, I like it. The Rams rank first in EPA per play on offense, and they're sixth on defense. The Falcons are playing pretty mediocre football. They rank 22nd in EPA per play on offense and 19th in EPA per play on defense. But they are on a 2-game winning streak. Credit where credit is due. Then again, they've beaten just 2 playoff contenders so far. The fading Buccaneers 2 weeks ago, and the Bills back in mid October. Bijan Robinson, he's legit, just crossed 2,000 scrimmage yards. Frickin' dog. Love that guy. But even though he's legit, so's the Rams' run defense. 10th in yards allowed in EPA per carry. This to me, I feel like, is a game where I think Kyron Williams controls the offense for the Rams. Falcons have a bottom 10 rush defense. I look, we all know Stafford can make plays in the red zone. As soon as Stafford gets in the red zone, he can dice you up. He can throw it to Puka. He can throw it to Parkinson. He can throw it to Devontae. Kyron Williams can obviously have those catches out of the backfield. But I think this is a game where you have to lean on the ground. The Falcons' pass defense is one of the best in the league. AJ Terrell is a dog. Jesse Bates is a dog. Just the whole secondary is super underrated. And I think they've been underrated all year long. They haven't been talked about much, except between the three of us a few times. I think this is a game you have to lean on Kyron Williams, and I think the Rams do. Sean McVay is a tremendous head coach, even better when it comes to offense. I love his schemes and the motions he uses. I got to go with the Rams. I look, maybe 7.5 is a little too much, but it's the Falcons and it's led by Kirk Cousins. Yes, they've strung a couple wins, but this is Matthew Stafford. This is Sean McVay. This is the Rams defense that we're talking about. Yes, they just lost to Seattle, but Seattle is by far the best team in the NFL from top to bottom, and the Rams are right behind them. So, like you, I got to go with a 10-point win here for the Rams, 34-24.
Yeah, and if the Rams don't win, maybe not if they don't win by 10 points, but if they honestly to me, if they don't cover the spread and Matthew Stafford doesn't have himself a game in this one, and again, the defense for the Atlanta Falcons, the secondary is very good, so maybe they try and limit the passing, go more Kyron Williams on the ground. But if you don't have a convincing win, that does hurt Matthew Stafford's MVP case for sure. And it also hurts your rank as far as NFL where you stand in the NFL power rankings right now, and you get a little bit more. I don't know. You get a little bit more concerned going into the playoffs of who can you beat? Are you a legit team? But the Rams, I think, are a legit team, and I don't think that's going to be a worry. I think they get the dub on Monday.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Well, that wraps up week 17 picks and predictions. This is going to be a super fun week. We got Christmas Day games, Saturday games, Sunday games, and Monday game. I cannot wait. The playoffs are starting to take form. We have 5 out of the 7 teams clinched for both sides, and we could ultimately see all 7 teams on both sides clinch this week. So it should be fun. I can't wait to watch it. I know you can't wait to watch it. I know Logan can't wait to watch it. And we know that you guys watching cannot wait to watch it. But thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you have anything to say. We appreciate it. Peace, love,